You know, Lost Guys, full disclosure, this is a sponsored stream, going through Dare Drops, so I have been provided a key, and I am being compensated for this. That said, it is a game that I looked at a number of times with the intent on playing at some point, and that hadn't happened. So this is my first time playing. It is a survival crafter that takes place between floating islands. I do not know, like, how gritty or how... Like, I don't know if it leans on, like, the gritty realism or not. I'm going to assume not because we're jumping between floating islands, but you never know. So let's see. We are going to go ahead and check out the accessibility stuff, because I always like to check that before we go. So you can turn off screen shake or turn it down if that bothers you. That's the main accessibility thing there. We can rebind our controls, which is always a plus for accessibility. You've got your volume sliders, nothing really amazing there. It did have motion blur turned on by default, and I turned that down. But then you got all these other different things. So you got a couple things like screen shake and motion blur that you can kill. So I appreciate that. You can also turn down some up or down some of the effects if they cause you motion sickness. You're seven away from your triple digit streaks. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and start a brand new game. I'm gonna create a new character. That is certainly a look. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so let's go see what we got for our different... Okay, so we got feminine or masculine bodies. That is certainly an aesthetic. Thanks for supporting Lost Guys. Free Lost Guys full release goes for selling your community. Alright, well grab that key fast. It's only gonna last a couple seconds. But thank you, Boss of Games. I appreciate it. This is actually my very first time playing, so I've been excited because I've been looking at this for a while and didn't get a chance to check it out. But it's always fun to get things. Alright, so we got red or black paint. We'll go with that. Complexion. They have neutral, cool, warm. Interesting. Those are some intense blue eyes. We got different head shapes. It's a very neat character customization and a very interesting aesthetic and all that. Okay, so where we chose the thing at the beginning, it was kind of giving me a base model, and then you can customize it to different lengths. Man, it's always fun to have the devs drop in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for giving the key out to the community. I like the beads. Might go with that. Hair color. Let's do the white, why not? And then facial hair. I love how every game these days has, like, the dapper mustache, and then just, you know, like, there's a handful of these that just show up every single time. Alright, and we need to name and confirm. And for right now, I'm just gonna go with Rual Storge. Okay, so we've made our first character. And then we can create a world, make it friends only and all that. I'm going to leave it to invite only, since we're streaming this. And we can go ahead and world name. I'll just do the thing where I go on stream. That way later on, if I go to play this off stream, like I tend to do with a lot of the games we play here, I can have that. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that it can go a different way. Like, if the devs have a connection with the individual, you know, with the individual creator, it's easy for them to give codes over. Like, so today we're being sponsored to play Lost Guys, and that's going through Dare Drops. And we got all that stuff. But yeah, so it's a survival crafter, we're gonna be checking it out. Like I said, for me, I saw it, man, was it 2-3 years ago that I think it was I saw it drop in early access? And And it looked cool, the idea of a survival crafter where we're bouncing between these flying islands. I know a lot of other people in the stream team played it, and I just didn't get a chance. Foundation was a world of diverse civilizations and culture that had full command of the land, the sea, and the sky. In their peak of their golden age, a calamity bestruck the world, tearing it apart and leaving only fragments floating among the clouds. You are a survivor, now waking, and I didn't get quite enough chance to finish reading that, but that's okay. So you're in a strange room. Perhaps that device in the middle of the opening ahead will explain more. Interact with the ARC computer. And of course, this is the first thing where we go to see if we can't just run immediately past it, and we can, which will probably break a lot of stuff. So let's go ahead and interact with it before breaking everything. Awakening. Subject arisen successfully. Awaiting response to determined cognitive abilities. What? Response sufficient. I am survival assistant assigned to this ARC. Designation, ASA. I am to guide you in successfully rehabilitating the outside world, though we are dealing with a number of unforeseen circumstances. Alright. What happened? Where am I? Why do I remember anything? Yeah, we'll just start with scream. Let's just scream. That feels like the appropriate thing. Scream. My creator saw fit to allow me to feel discomfort from particularly high-pitched sound waves. Please refrain from your such outbursts. I'm glad we've had this moment. What happened? Where am I? A cataclysm was wrought on the outside world, and I fear not much is left. You have been aboard the Ark for some time. Unfortunately, there are gaps in my memory bank. I do not know your place of origin. Why don't I remember anything? A common side effect of prolonged cryostasis. Your memory may return in time, though my limited data is unable to say for sure. Unforeseen circumstances? I don't have any data before the Ark crashed, though I suspect we were attacked. My core directive was to ensure your safety and only wake you if I had run out of options. I am out of options. I can see from the inventory logs, the Ark once held numerous supplies and equipment, but it appears they were deliberately jettisoned some time ago. This Ark can no longer fly, but it can still manufacture items and equipment for you. Our best chance for survival is to explore the outside world for technology and find means of constructing a skyship. How am I supposed to do that? Take this prism. It is a direct link between you and I. I will track and log everything you find, and allow me to create equipment and tools to assist your journey. I have already scanned the local environment and create a list of objects that will help you in your immediate investigations. Please check the crafting station and depart the Ark when ready. End conversation. Okay. So we can craft items. We can make a coral flare, which requires burning coral and medicine. We can make a makeshift glider, which requires a makeshift cloth and small branch. And we have cloth out of plant fiber, a classic. Alright. Now, immediately things I'm noticing is there is an energy bar that keeps appearing in the middle of the screen. I have health on the bottom left, and it looks like I've got a buff of some kind for 6 minutes. So we'll try the classic with every one of these games. Okay, so you cannot punch tree, for anyone curious. I'm sure I will want the hide. Okay. I did not appear to get anything for brutally assaulting the deer thing. So, looks like I'm the monster here, in case anyone was keeping notes. There's a flying chrysalis thing. So I did see that there was just a highlight that I could just pick up the branches. So it looks like we've got highly visible action points, which I appreciate. And not all of them are. So that's just because it's the quest it's showing me these. So now I know what these look like, and I can just grab them my own. I appreciate that. Because I can imagine those can be very, very hard to see in the end. I will say, I'm really liking the aesthetic of like these floating islands and all that. Grab a couple more things, because I'm sure no matter how much I grab of everything, I'll end up wanting more. Another classic of survival crafters. You just always need more of everything. I'm also imagining this first island, they probably don't have that much. Now, I'm not noticing any type of hunger or thirst or temperature gauges. That could be that we're in, like, the first area. We're still learning the game. So, a lot of survival crafters will turn that off until you hit a sufficient point. And then they're like, okay, you're out of the tutorial. Go figure it out. We'll figure all that out as we get there. There's also a bunch that just don't have those mechanics, which is fine, too. Alright, so let's go see. Oh, I see. So I've got a scanner. So perhaps I should have scanned that deer thing versus brutally assaulting it. That's my bad. It's my first day being conscious. Okay, so the bar in the middle is just stamina. Alright, so let's see here. So tab shows all of this. We've got our inventory, we've got our equipment and all that. I've got character. Oh yeah, so here's my inventory down here. So I've got my backpack and my stash. Oh no, that's my backpack. And then my belt. I see. We got our compendium. Okay, so this is just listing all the objects in the world. So as I learn stuff, we can go on with that. Cool, and you can like reread the past conversations. Okay. You haven't learned any schematics. Pick up items and learn how to build things. Alright. Can we scan the ship? Worth considering. Alright, so we'll scan the ship thing, or at least try. We'll see what happens. Let's also try scanning, was it Prism? No, Prism was the equipment he gave me. Yeah, this is the Ark ship. And let's try scanning the thing in the middle, the actual Ark. Alright. I'm sure we can make this happen once we get to a corner or whatever. Oh, could I scan your corpse? Ah, see? So I committed violence for valid reasons. That's fine. Oh, that's a different type of tree. Or not. Okay. So I collected the sticks and everything. Let's see if there's a path down here. If there isn't, let's try going back to the Ark, and maybe I have to go to the Ark with the materials. Because I am not the smartest person. But you You got a typo in the game name? Oh, I do. Let me correct that. Whoops. That's fine. We can fix that here in 2 seconds. I had to rush this all today, so that's not super surprising. So let's do that. Save, save. Get you out of the way. Do that. I will need to pull this back up so I can see chat. I will need to unpin this real quick. And then dare drop. And give it a couple more seconds. Yeah, and there's the whole phenomena where your brain kind of auto-complete stuff. And that's what's going out there. Alright, so let's get that. There we go. Let's pin that back up here. So we got the tracking link and everything. Because again, while I don't get, like, kickbacks from you clicking that link or anything like that, those tracking links are useful for, like, the devs and all that to see that, you know, hey, they sponsored, they actually got their money's worth for doing. That, you know, you found the game from where you found it. Because all it does, it just goes through dare drop and then goes there. Alright, craft items. So, chunk of burning coral. I don't have that. The makeshift glider. I need cloth. How much cloth did it say I needed? Just one? Alright, so let's craft that. Okay, so there is a timer on crafting things. Good to know. And so now we can do a makeshift glider. And there are bandages for cloth. So I can queue up a bunch, and I assume autofill would clear up the entire list. We make 2 bandages. I have no idea what level of combat or all that. This feels like this is going to be one of the more, what's the right one to use for it? It's going to be kind of like, you know, games like Raft and all that, where it's a survival crafting game, but it's not a super gritty one. Because people have heard me vent about, like, the super gritty ones plenty in the past. Movement while gliding. Okay, first, I'm assuming I need to equip the glider in some way. Yes, I do. Okay. So it's that style. So we just run off here. Okay, first flight complete. Okay, and you can just hold the button and walk over things, so I appreciate that. Versus, like, games like No Man's Sky where you have to walk up to each item, and it does, like, the E-wheel fill, E-wheel fill, E-wheel fill. And after a while, you're just like, please, don't make me keep mashing this button. Actually, I think they eventually changed that in No Man's Sky, but a lot of games have those kind of mechanics. But I do appreciate that I don't have to, like, find the sweet spot and hit the button. High thing that's clearly designed to distract me and lead me onto the thing that I can't scan. To climb a surface, we just walk and jump. Cool. Surely find the floating entity into a cave won't go wrong. Absolutely. Discovered crude workbench. Okay, so that just lets me craft the things we already got crafting. Oh. Discovered an energy wall. Did I try scanning the switch? I did not. Okay. I also appreciate that it doesn't appear to have the stamina drain mechanic with walking that so many games do, where you stick to the wall and you got seconds to get to your destination before you fall. I definitely appreciate that that's not. Such grace. Such elegance. I apparently hit Control or C or something to drop. If any survivors find this datapad, that dang defense turret has gone haywire. Started up when we activated the energy walls and wiped out most of the group. It was that or let this place completely fall apart. I got hit. Pretty bad. My last hope is sending out a data drone to find help. But if this is how I ascend, so be it. I can't quite see because my head's in the way, but I don't know if it's saying we are gods? Alright. Weapons must be equipped. And they require ammo and all that. We have control to dodge. Almost anything can be assigned to the toolbar. This is done from the inventory. Okay, so just click and drag stuff from the inventory. So let's go here. We now have a pistol. Found some scrap metal. And just scanning everything. Alright. Classic type of fight. And considering they had pistols and everything, they did a terrible job. But game story things. Plot armor, all that. Yeah, the group of them must have sucked hard. Yeah, it's a classic in a lot of these games. Like, not even survival games, just... Here, we need to introduce you to basic mechanics. Hey, this big group of people fell to this fight that, you know, you get through at a trivial level. It's fine, it's tutorial stuff. Okay, so we got a crude workbench. Alright. So we got it where I can now make scrap armor. I can make a battery. That's stuff we already have. I can craft light ammo. And a lot of that's going to require metal. Oh, that is burning coral, staying 2 inches away from me. I think. I can't seem to interact with it. I really don't want to waste my limited bullets on it. It could be just decoration in here and then later on. Because I'm willing to bet we're in tutorialized area right now. Oh. That's mean. Discovered loose boulder. In all fairness, both sides sucked. If your metal turret is taken out by a pistol at a handful of shots, it's not great. This is fair. They just softened it up. That's all. They softened it up and we just finished the job. Is that moss or that root anything new? No? Okay. So I've got this area over here. Oh, hey. Alright, so I actually have some decent range on them. Alright, so from shooting that far away, it doesn't take hardly any damage. I was hoping I could duck behind the rock. Alright, so let's assess here. I did make bandages. Okay, so bandages are a heal over time. Okay, so you can kind of dodge them. Not super cleanly. But that's fine. The other thing to watch is I'm at 36 health. We'll watch to see if our health recovers anything passively or if I have to use healing stuff. Because I could see that being an either or kind of thing. Some more scrap metal. Alright, we got another one of these drones that seems to be leading me to story elements and all that. Okay, more of the coral I don't seem to be able to interact with, that's fine. There we go. We learned an igniter. The rest of the coral here doesn't seem to be able to be interacted with. We've got some type of ore over here. That's a metal deposit. Got mushrooms. Yeah, so we definitely don't have a passive recovery. So that's good to know. Yeah, it's definitely the play to wander around in the dark without a flashlight. I don't have a flashlight, right? Okay, not the obvious buttons. Ooh, okay, you're a shotgun drone. Alright, so we have a minor problem. I'm out of bullets. Oh, and it looks like we got character levels for different stuff. I also just remember there was a dodge button that we haven't been using. I can't punch or anything. No, yeah, I can. We punched at the beginning. Why was I able to punch before and now I can't punch? Ow. I wonder why I was able to punch before. Oh, that's not what you want. Hang on, little robot. I just need to craft actively while... Oh, he can shoot through that. Anyone not keeping notes? Alright. Empty hand? I tried to. But it could be I'm just not doing it right. Alright. Because maybe we'll get a shotgun out of this. Keep accidentally climbing. Okay, so destroying the turret didn't stop it. Get out of there, Seraph. Seraph found us. The path to the camp is broken apart. Kelko, you have the grappling hook. We can't make it out without you. Message sent failed. Alright. So let's check around the ruin, make sure there isn't just like a switch up high I have to shoot at or something. There is. Alright. Heavy duty chest. We've already scanned those before. Sabo Vittles. Makeshift bandage. Alright, so our inventory is getting a little full. We do have the backpack though, so we're probably okay for right now. A component obtained from destroying turrets. Tastes the same as you remember, but where are those who share the memory? We got plant fibers. We obtain metal through ruins. We get burning coral through caves. Ah, we got medium ammo. And apparently we can scrap things. It looks like the food gives me a bonus to stamina. Okay. Not even close. All right. Just climb the wall. Yeah, that's gonna take some time to get used to being able to just climb anything. I'm sure there will be walls that are ineligible for climbing. So got the grappling hook. Agbana Squad mission report. This is our last mission report. Watchpost Telemann failed to report the Seraph forces. This facility has been invaded and was taken many casualties. Energy walls were subsequently activated from elsewhere, trapping what survivors are left. The last grappling hook was entrusted to me. I fear what will befall the rest of my crew without it. My failure does not deserve ascension. Yeah, so I can't see Kelko, Celio, and I guess they're... Yeah, it looks like they're answering, "We are gods." Okay, whenever you see the grapple icon, you can use 4. Okay, we're definitely going to need to find a place to test that. I'm not entirely sure what button it wants me to use. It's showing my mouse and the number 4. Let's see if I have to equip... Yeah, I have to equip the grapple. Then reel in with shift or control. So we reel with shift and control. Four. Yeah, but it'd be very unusual for a game to be like, oh yeah, you just need to use one of your side mouse buttons, considering how few mice have them. Alright, so holding right click would have nothing equipped. Yeah, I'm using all my side mouse buttons now. Oh, that is an interesting choice of control. So for me, it's the scroll wheel, and like where you can push your scroll wheel right or left. It's that. So let's look at those controls, because I definitely don't want that to be the control. Rebind control, mouse and keyboard. Fire weapons, scan, cycle interactions, drop, da-da-da. Grappling hook. Clutch release. But where's the grappling? So it's saying Q. Okay. Alright, so Q's not bad. I could live with Q. Q's a good button for it. But it was like the middle mouse button, like snapping it back and forth, is like, nah, man. They're definitely gonna have some like moving around in the air to do. Okay. Yeah, so it's Q button. Puzzles and generator pylons. An old damaged generator, its energy pylons being thrown or placed nearby. Attach your grappling hook to the center of the generator to electrify the cable, then wrap the cable around nearby pylons to kickstart the generator. That's probably safe. Alright, grab all that sweet loot. Gotta remember I can climb. I'll be curious to see how much crafting we can do ultimately. I think I hit the edge of it. It's fine. Eh. I'll have to reel it out. It'll take a little getting used to reeling in and out my grappling hook. Okay. That's a hole. So I guess this is where we get to get a little practice with the grapple. So there was a lunge button. There we go. Alright. Now the question is this a new location or did they backtrack up here? Alright. Part of me wants like these various colored grasses and all that to be materials as well. I don't even know what materials. But they kind of just, like the flowers and all just pop with how different they are. So the fact that they're nothing... It's like your eye gets drawn to them. That grapple's gonna generate a few clips. Oh yeah, no, I fully expect to accidentally huck myself into oblivion. That's certainly gonna be a thing. Oh, and with the key giveaway thing, if the devs are still here, one thing you do to work around that is you can ask the creator whenever you tune into a channel and be like, hey, can we do like a key giveaway kind of thing? And if they say yes, then you can just give the key to either the person to pass on or you know, whatever name gets drawn or whatever. Every channel will have their own way of doing it. You can just DM the person directly. Like, for the record, I think it's cool that you give out the key. Because that way bots don't scoop them up and then gray market them. Yeah, so you're gonna have to figure out the tools for this. Let's check our compendium. Not our compendium, where was the crafting thing? It's fine. So this is looking... Yeah, so this is back where we were before we went underground. So I don't think this is actually where they intended us to go from there. I think what I was expected to do is use that grapple to follow those chains, like the chain of rocks there, over to that area, and then we'd be able to use that chain to get back. Now granted, I might be able to just go up there now. Let's give our stamina a moment. Okay. Wait. Alright, we're getting the hang of this. We're picking up all the good stuff. I need to keep in mind that it's one of those games that, as you shoot, it does have where the accuracy gets worse per shot if you fire too fast. Which is fine, that's a classic. It's a way of kind of punishing just spamming shots real fast. Alright. Well, first let's open up all the boxes. Let's see. We salvage what we can from the frigate. It's a wonder we escaped a herald. We even escaped a herald. We found... Excuse me, dear. We found an antique spot... oh, no, sorry, I can words. Adequate spot for the main camp. We'll separate the crew into squads and start investigating nearby buildings. Maybe we can start to make it out of this. Kelko and the Teller's squads headed southern part of the island, and the land ruptured. Gods, I hope the Seraph haven't heard it. Let's see. At least Kelko has the grappling hook. They won't be stranded. No report for the southern squads. It's been a day since the rupture. I mustn't lose hope. We are gods. Okay. Oh yeah, no, it's a thing. There's probably a bunch of people popped in and grabbed it. You know, and if a bot got it, like, that's a bummer, but it happens. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so let's see what we got for crafting stuff. Oh, I missed some ammo. Let's see what crafting stuff we've got the option of now. So I can make medium and that ammo. We've got the guns. It's the end of the world. It happens. We've got the grappling hook. A throwable flare of glowing coral that illuminates the area for a short period of time. An igniter. A component utilized coral to create an igniting spark. And we can have the battery. Let's check to make sure I don't already have an igniter in my inventory at this stage. Okay, we do not. Alright, let's make the igniter. Oh, interesting. I had to choose autofill to get it to put stuff in there. Because that might unlock new stuff. Okay, so we can start doing this. So we choose autofill, it won't do anything. So we need to go to resources. Cloth. Gonna make a bunch of cloth real quick. So we can go ahead and get our armor. So that way we're not running around in our skin suit. We'll start with our pants. And then I'll make a chest piece. There's our arm wraps, and then I will need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Let's look at a full set of this stuff. Now, thus far, I haven't noticed durability being a mechanic, which I greatly appreciate. That is one of those things that is a staple of the survival crafting genre that can often be very obnoxious. It really depends. Like, if materials are easy to come by and it's easy to craft stuff, but with this having a timer on it, I wouldn't particularly want to be dealing with that. Alright, so get ourselves the full suit. Let's go ahead. I can just right-click those over. Love to see it. Okay, so we have a 10% damage reduction and armor rating of 40%. So we still don't know what these other gears are. One's pointing to my head, the other's pointing to my legs. We'll figure that out when we get there. Okay. I get a bunch more scrap metal laying around. Clothing can be equipped by highlighting it and then right-clicking. If you already have an item in the same slot, it'll automatically be swapped out and returned to your inventory. Cool. Is there a first-person option? I don't think so. We could check. My assumption is when you're doing the grappling hook in first person, it would be terrible. So I don't think they would have a first person. Oh, they do have a camera change. It said V, but I'm not noticing it. I do see that there's an actual crafting stove. I completely missed that I could build stuff like that. As far as I could tell, I can't see how to do it, if there is a first person. Like I said, for me personally, I do think the grappling hook here, when you start doing all sorts of maneuvers, such as embedding yourself in a tree like that, I have a feeling that'd be like basically motion sickness simulator if you were doing that in first person. Okay. And it does appear that this game does iframes when you're rolling. I've noticed with this, like you see that last shot definitely hit our character model. But we don't seem to take damage. So kind of Dark Souls rules. Okay. I'll check all that out. Wasn't sure if that was like some special battery or something. Oh, you know what it might be? Okay. I was curious if it was like an explosive container or whatever. Prism scanning. You can scan objects in the world. Yeah, I've been doing that. Yep. Discovered a data disk. And we picked up 625 drift? I don't know what that is. Stash? A Saborian data disk. A cache of data from the Saborian databank can be inserted into an ARC computer and decrypted, unlocking new technology. And then we got drift up here, which I have no idea what we use for. Stream's going good. Crew of the God Hand Frigate. I have been given sole responsibility to guard this databank. The power you entrust to me is not misplaced. I will make this building impenetrable. No one will get in, not even the Seraph. We are gods. Yeah, well, you know, that was actually pretty easy to get in there. Okay. Well, I wanna... Okay. I'll come back to the drone in a minute. There was more on the island I wanted to check out before I go launching myself all over the place. Because there's more wreckage over here that maybe I can get some more metal scrap, because metal scrap does seem to be a supply that we're going to want a lot of. I saw there was a cave back here. Alright, so I completely exhaust my stamina, I just slowed down. Some games your character will kind of go into like a I'm tired animation or something like that. They just make it so you don't run as fast. Oh! I just know something that's cool. If I walk up to something, I'll have to have where I've got multiple nearby. But if I push and hold E, I'll grab all the stuff in range. Okay. See, if I had followed the drone, we wouldn't have seen this trippy cave place. Can I interact with you? No. So we got a data drone puzzle. There's a fancy box. Okay, so I'm not seeing an obvious interaction over here. Yeah, it's turning me around. Yeah, so something tells me I'm probably not making much progress in here until we get, like, a flashlight or something. I know we could craft the flares. I just haven't done it because I don't want to use my materials on something temporary. It's a real problem. Because I know I'm going to have to. Alright. Unfortunately, I did not see a crafting table here. I also don't think I could backpack craft. A makeshift fire used to cook food and stay warm. Most closely resembles traditional Bondini cookpots. Can only be built on an island. So I don't think I need to cook right now. I would need a proper crafting bench. So let's go ahead and try to find our way back out. I make bad choices, chat. Okay, we ended up back where we started. So I think some of these loop into each other. Oh, wait, you're a different type of rock. Okay. Yes, I think this is the way out. Because remember we saw the puzzle drone thing first. Okay, that's going up on a wall there. First playthrough? Yes. Oh, and we're back here. Okay. So these tunnels are connected. Alright. I need to remember that up is a thing. Oh, we got something over there. Is there fall damage? Yes, there is. Try over there. All right. So this is a puzzle room. So we're just seeing if there's anything up here. So I found the one chest, but I haven't seen any more of, like, the data points or anything. Because we clearly have the puzzle drone here. We'll do that. The grappling mechanic is pretty solid. It definitely is going to take me a while to adapt to. But it is good. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing as well, is you have to find the drone and lead it here. Alright, so let's double check some stuff. So I haven't built this thing yet. So let's see if that gives me any information. So we learned how to make... So you have the baked berries. I'll craft one of those. Ah, so there's health food and stamina food. Alright, so that's not going to help for what we want. I'll make it because we're sitting here. So now I guess the question is, can I take it back down? Get at least some of my materials back. So let's check. Build. First tool, middle click. Ah, I see it. Yep. It does look like it either gave me all or most of my materials back. That's good. I do really dislike when a lot of these games do the whole thing where you don't give me any light doing that, right? Okay. I dislike when a lot of games make it, where you can misclick and you lose everything. So we definitely got the problem of just the fact that I don't have a light and I went back in this tunnel and I gotta figure out my way out. Who's that out? Yay! So where I thought I was being all smart going in there being... Oh. You suck, little robot. It was waiting there by the entrance the whole time. I just didn't get close enough to that edge to trigger it. And you gave me bandages. A ration I haven't scanned yet. Ration. Well. Yeah, so I want to say it was I went over here. Now we turn left. Okay. And it does clearly look like items respawn, so I don't need to worry about being wasteful with the items. They are just respawning on the ground as I get lost in all this. So that's good news. I was going to say, this definitely feels like it's a very, very handcrafted world. And that'd be a bummer if there was limited resources, because in that situation you could exhaust all the resources You know, and when you have consumables in that case, you can get yourself in a really bad spot. So I appreciate that that's not the case. Okay, so let's check her stuff. Nothing new with any of that. Okay, so nothing new to craft here. I probably should not be lazy, and where's those, equipment? We'll make a set of flares. Alright, so I'm pretty sure the robot we were following went up here. Now, I don't know if it resets back or not. Let's check to see if it resets back. Because if it reset back, it'd be just inside this door. This also feels like the game with the grappling hook that you could do a lot so far as the, yeah, so it didn't reset back. You could do a lot so far as hiding stuff because you have so much, like, you could hide stuff on the bottom of the islands, over top of things. The whole advantage of, like, three-dimensional space. Okay, so I see that the thing where I launch myself does take quite a bit of stamina. Okay. No, I definitely dig the grappling hook. It's a pretty cool mechanic. Mission, reduce a squad. Mission report. Mission parameters have drastically changed. I have found the construction plans and schematics for a shipyard within a databank. With enough materials, leaving this island is within reach. I felt the rupture occur on this island, as no doubt we all did. I'll send a drone back to camp with a copy of this report. Once, a Banda squad receives this report, head to the facility on the southernmost reaches of the island. I have our salvation. We are gods. Okay, so that's walled off. I don't have an obvious, like, shoot the spot door. Here's a question. It did shift. Like, I can't seem to just pull it away. But when I first grabbed it, it did kind of shift in place a little bit. So it makes me wonder... Oh, do they... I wonder if they have the concept of leverage in this game. Because wondering if you can make, like, yourself a pulley system. But no. We'll come back to that. So they said the southernmost edge of the place. It's possible that we need to explore, find the next thing, and we'll get some piece of equipment. Or whatever to advance stuff. Okay, so we're back here. And it said go to the southernmost edge of this place. Right, because now I've got a grappling hook. So where before my ability to explore this place is kind of limited. I'm pretty sure this is the exit from the other side. So if I put the flare on our bar... Is it the kind of flare? Yeah, so I light the flare and I can hold it, and I can probably throw it if I wanted. Okay. Got a bunch more caves to explore. You know you don't want spoilers, but how about tips for things you already have? I'm going to say hold off for a minute, because one of the things I like to do is I like to present games that if you were just to play it, how it would be. And people playing the games, you know, you're not just going to, you're not just going to have, like, chat there to help you out. Okay. So let's get back out of this cave. Chunks of a roadstone can be used to build solid foundations too. Too heavy for use on a skyship. Well, there isn't like a scan button or anything like that. Nah, it's fine. Yeah, because we got a bunch of food, we got power cores, we got our gun and some ammo. We've got the igniter. Alright. So let's turn around. And get up here real quick. As I said, in the southern part of this island. Yeah, so I don't see us getting over there. Let's get a little peeky peek over here. Hey, found a data bank over here, apparently. Oh, right, we got a data bank in our inventory. I need to just take it to the robot, or the arc thing. You can literally just run over here and just shove it in. Spend 1 to unlock. Saborian Shipyard. A shipyard for Saborian design used to construct and repair skyships. This advanced structure utilizes nano-printing technology to manipulate materials and was the lifeblood of the Saborian Navy during its heyday. Can only be built on islands. Acquire. Oh. Crude Atlas Lifter. A crude, throwable Atlas-powered device capable of lifting some objects can be equipped on the toolbar. Oh, I see what's going to happen. We got the Atlas Lifter. I'll use the Atlas Lifter to, move the thing. Okay, we don't have the battery. Oh, I need Atlas Dust. A ground dust of Atlas crystals lowers mass when electricity passes through it. Catch Atlas Shrimp. Oh, okay. You want me to catch Atlas Shrimp. So let's try a couple different strategies to do this. Now, my instinct says pull a gun and shoot it. But I also have a grappling hook. So maybe I can, like, literally catch it. I know I saw an Atlas shrimp running around over here. Okay. Thought I heard another one. Okay. Yeah, and that's what I figured. It's like, okay, very clearly we're gonna get some type of piece of equipment. I was expecting to be something with the grappling hook, like you get some like anchor or something like that, but this makes honestly a lot more sense. Alright. So you can fill that, craft one of you. Now I'm hoping this won't be a one and done kind of weapon or item. I can see it going either way depending on the frequency. Alright, now I gotta remember where that big chunk of rock is. I don't believe it was on this island. No, yeah, wait, was it? Yeah, no, I think, wasn't it down here? Alright. Can I take it back? Thank you. I wanted my thing back just in case I need it. That also has interesting implications in that I would be able to potentially use that. Oh, I hate it. Yes, it's got a skull on it. Oh, well, we're out of ammo, so we'll take the strategy of pretending our problems aren't there. I'm stuck. Oh, we got a button. So we have a button we hit, but what did it do? Okay. Yeah, so I tried shooting the drone thing a little bit. Let's make some more ammo and see if I can't shoot the spawner and make any headway with that. Alright. Because I ran out of ammo in the middle of that, which is why I stopped fighting. Craft items. Weapons. Now, one thing I'm going to run into is we'll end up needing to grab more metal. That's the reason I've been trying to do that. You scan the drone spawner, right? Oh, as well as things I'm going to have to look at the lore. Because I did stop to scan it. Compendium. World. I'm pretty sure I got the scan on it, but I don't see it here. Maybe I interrupted the scan. Alright. The other thing I thought about is trying to put the Atlas thing on it, but I don't think that's going to work. Get her scanner. Okay, that didn't do anything. Can I shoot... Okay, so I can't shoot the wire there. Can't shoot that thing over there. The good news is their accuracy sucks, so you can actually run around here quite a bit. And I can't, like, grab stuff from it. Let's try a couple different sciences. Okay. I knew it was gonna happen. Yeah, so I hit the button there, and I didn't see a second button. Okay, so just gonna get away. So I definitely scanned it. Let's check our compendium. And see if I've overlooked anything. So it's clearly not in the wildlife, it's clearly not in the forces of the Seraphs, and it's not in the technology. We don't see it under places. We have a bunch of the objects here. Shoot the spawner, maybe? Yeah, I could try that again, because when I first shot it, it didn't seem to do, like, any damage. But it could be just a different phase. I'm also noticing this is showing that I've got new stuff there, yet I don't see it. Alright, so let's just try shooting it. Because I tried to shoot at the open hole in it. When they first started spawning, because I figured that was going to be like the first thing is, oh, it's a spawner. Prioritize it. Okay. Ah, there we go. I thought I'd already done that, but... Okay, that wasn't that bad. Yeah, so when I fired at it while it was spawning, I probably just caught it when the doors were going or something like that. Okay. Grappling hook yank. The yank lets you pull things towards you, stun enemies that have become that becomes staggered. After damaging an enemy, watch for the staggered effect on it, and press F quickly to fire a cable to stun it. Cool. Alright, so we did that. Oh, hi. It's probably fine. See, it's not a big deal. Like, we can't say anymore. You tone down the ominous music. Alright, so this is implying... What is that, datapad? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's just telling us, oh yeah, there's a data chip back here. So the thing I suspect is I've got to find the drone that'll come to this pad, open that up, and probably give me access to this. And my assumption is we'd be able to figure that out once we had gotten that. You got the data thing for the computer? Yeah, so we didn't find the drone that actually brings the stuff here. Okay, so let's go back to the Ark, see what happens then. I mean, it does have objectives on the top left being like, yo, go back to your Ark computer and do the thing. But, you know, it's just data that's covering, like, a fifth of my screen. There's no way I'd notice that. Oh, is that literally the one that's supposed to be leading me down? These little, like, drones that lead you around, the frequency of which I lose track of them is entirely too much. Give me my box. Okay. A bunch of people play tutorials like this, makes it very clear why making tutorials super hard. Oh yeah, no, it's... You think about it, but it's one of those things that, like, even though they've got the text up there, there's so many things that grab your attention in these games, and there's so many games that have so much, like, heavy amounts of UI going on, that you learn to tone stuff out, and then eventually you're like, man, I'm frustrated, how do I get around? You just like, oh, this text has been on my screen for, like, the last half hour. Okay. It's a really difficult thing to do. It's the same kind of thing. So I have a background that includes developing courses for teaching software development, and it's the same kind of thing of just figuring out how to give the person the resources they need to succeed. Okay, so now we can get that landing pad thing. All right. So now we can build a shipyard but it will require an Atlas crystal and a lot of metal, like a lot of metal. I don't know if we've been to the big island up there yet. Let's start heading that way. Ow. I found metal over here because I need 30 metal. Not seeing any metal down there. You like how they add full screen dimming when you get low? Yeah, those kind of things can be a little mixed at times. Like, it can be good, but it's also those things that it can make it just really hard to see. I think it's good to have those features, but I also think it's good to always have the option to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe not. Okay, so I got a bunch of Atlas dust. Yeah, so those shrimp things are very easy to get a bunch of them. So that's good news. We're looking for metal. I see another rock thing over there on the right. I could probably use my thing that makes stuff weightless to get it out of here. Okay. Trying to see where I saw that rock. Okay. I figured that was coming. Goodbye, big ball thing. You did your job of crushing me quite a bit, very admirably. So now let's go down to where that was, which is right over here. And it doesn't look like it was hiding anything. Oh, we can put... Oh, let's see. Advanced component, that's fine. Put you back in the bar. I kind of wish that went back on its bar on its own. Okay, we got a cave over here. Let's probably just rush to the cave, because I don't really need the coral that bad yet. I'm grabbing it because why not? What I need to find is more ruins for metal. Okay, we got a ruin over there. How are we doing in the metal, by the way? 22, and I need 30. And that's to build the landing pad thing. I suspect we're gonna need more supplies to build the rest of it. Okay, so that's an Atlas crystal, not an Atlas. But see, as a dev, how would you get people to pay attention to tutorial information more? You mentioned that people get distracted by stuff, so how do you redirect them back? There's a number of different strategies. You can have like the kind of heavy-handed one of if the person's doing stuff unrelated to the tutorial kind of thing, you can do the stuff where you blink the tutorial, you prompt, you have either an in-game audio cue. Those you gotta be careful, because when you go that heavy-handed, it can get kind of annoying. But sometimes it's necessary. How far is the range on my grapple? It's pretty far, actually. I'm hitting the wrong button. Okay, we're fine. Wait a second. Hello. The other thing is when you're doing your tutorials, draw the attention to the tutorial right from the beginning. Don't just have like background text. And some of that could be like, have the tutorial, like if it's appropriate for the theme of your game, have the tutorial be like comical, fun, that kind of thing, so the tutorial in itself is an entertaining thing. Because that can go a long way for keeping people on course and whatnot. Don't put too much tutorial in all at once. Like don't have like you have 8-9 objectives all show up at once. Just have like the one thing you need to do next. Obtain the craft pulse hammer. Yeah. It's literally up there. One of the other things is like whenever I'm turning this, if I have the clouds behind it, it's far harder to notice that. Putting a slight backdrop on it could be a thing, like partial transparency. Okay, so you want me to make a thing. So we got the printing matrix. So there's the pulse hammer. So you want me to have a battery. But it's a very difficult thing, because it has to do with, like, the style of game you're doing. It's going to be relevant. So autofill, craft. Harvesting tool to break apart metal deposits to harvest, or requires a battery to operate. We have a harvesting tool to cut and harvest wood, trees, and break down animal corpses for meat and other resources. Requires a battery. I'm gonna go ahead and make 2, because I'm assuming what says requires a battery, that they will expend those and I'll have to get more of them. If not, I'm not super worried about it. So there's the energy saw. Alright. Yeah, you also got to keep in mind, like, when someone's streaming a game like I am, it's way harder to notice some of that stuff, because you have so many things you're trying to keep attention on. But it is a thing to concern even if you're not in that situation, because people got kids, they got, you know, other stuff distracting them, noise outside. Prism building. You can use a prism to build structures in the world, or move existing structures around. Open up the build menu using B. A simple furnace used to smelt ore. Build it built to standard Siberian industrial specifications, can only be built on an island. Right, so I need a bunch of wood and rock. Alright. See, like, the thing over here, that grabs my attention. There's a high contrast between it and its background and all that. But the thing over there, it's that, like, I just keep losing that into all the graphics and all that. Because you have all these things trying to grab your attention. So this is the thing that's good for holding your attention. That over there is better for long objectives. But yeah, like you can see, like, trying to read what's there right now, with the lack of having a contrast background, it's very difficult to read. So that means I gotta turn, find a place that's a little bit darker, there we go, and then try and read it. Let's see, to harvest wood, energy saw. To refire faster, more powerful saw, press left mouse button when it returns back to you. Be careful not to mistime it, as the saw could dissipate and you'll need to recharge. Alright, I don't fully understand what it's telling me, but we'll figure it out. Obviously the pulse hammer. Okay. I see, so you charge it up and then you just keep trying to hit it again and again. So it kind of rewards you for being able to time. I keep doing it too early. Alright. That's a cool way to make cutting wood a little bit more interesting. Because it is one of the things that happens in some of these games when you have to cut an obnoxious amount of wood. And you sat there and you've been cutting and cutting and cutting. You just walk up to the tree and you just hold the button. How much wood do you have? Oh, I've got like 100. Okay. I'm also noticing where I thought this was going to run out of charge, that does not appear to be the case. So the next thing I need to do is I got a thing for smashing rocks, and I remember there's a bunch of rocks over here. Alright, so those rocks are out of play. I figured as much. But this one is playing. Ow. So I don't think it's the bug that got me. I could be wrong. I think it's a standing too close that exploded in my face, the rock, I mean. Okay, so there's a cooldown on those. It's good to know. So I keep shooting one spot. Okay, so I gotta figure... I gotta figure that out because maybe I'm like overcharging it or whatever. Yeah, I need to actually stop and cook. I'm being very lazy about it. Okay. So let's get way back this time. Do you get anything with explosive nodes? Yeah, no, I'm getting iron ore. Okay, because I wanted to actually kill them this time. I should have scanned them before I destroyed them. Yeah, so you notice it got like a little hazard sign on it, and I stopped shooting when the hazard sign showed up. Okay. We're probably going to want to actually cook things and all that and figure this out. We got tons of stuff here. Yeah, so it looks like what happens is it gets weakened, and if you just keep holding the button after that point, it explodes. So standing that far back. And I could be wrong on my assessment of that, by the way. I'm just going to hold it this time and let it explode. Okay. Alright, so it's just a danger if I'm close. So I'm overthinking. Yep, so we just need to not be anywhere nearby it when I'm smashing them. Okay. And I'm assuming we need a lot of this material, so I'm just kind of going for it right now. And then we'll go outside. We'll build the melter. I'll start processing all of that into ore. And going with all that. I really appreciate that this thing doesn't actually drain battery and I don't have to replace the battery constantly. There we are. Okay, I feel pretty good about what we got here. Let's get out from being inside... Oh, there's one right there. Let's get this one here. Let's get out from being inside the cave. And then once we're out from the cave, we will smelt this, and we'll figure that out. Now, the thing that makes me curious, we still are supposed to find an atlas. And all that stuff. And that's a material I haven't seen yet. Okay. So you can go out here, and there's your furnace. Autofill, craft. We've learned how to smelt an ingot. So, forge an Atlas shard, make charcoal, and then make ingots. So it's looking like what I'm going to have to do. Manufactured shards in the forge, not as pure as naturally occurring Atlas, lowers the mass when electricity passes through it. Sure. I'll craft several of those. For right now, the wood is easy to get a hold of, so I'll craft a ton of that. So let that do its thing. In the meantime, let's go obliterate a tree. Ah. Getting that timing down's a little weird. Cool. And hopefully this isn't one of these things that takes forever to get done. Okay, no, it's not bad. Because my assumption is I was going to need a bunch of charcoal for this. So iron ingot. Cool. Alright. So now I'm supposed to build the shipyard. I haven't found Atlas yet. Oh, no, apparently I have. Okay, so I need 10 more metal. Now I can make the Atlas. And I can make a makeshift wooden box. We'll worry about that later. So let's go grab you. Get my materials back from this. Okay, so let's go find some ruins and get ourselves some more metal. And then I should be able to build the shipyard. Let's have metal over there. Alright. Oh, hey, deer thing. Because now I can actually harvest you for goods. All right. So we got a broken deer horn and a bunch of other stuff. We should probably check one of the crafting tables and see if there's anything exciting we can do there. We're looking pretty good so far as the metal's all that going. There it is. Okay. We got the regular armor. A tension cable, a versatile cable that can be used for a variety of gear. Alright. That's something we should consider making. We have nothing new to do there. So let's go ahead and make the tension cable just because I can. Because you never know when just getting the next item will be like, haha, you've made the thing, now you can unlock the next thing. Okay, it did not mention anything, but that's okay. Apparently found light ammo there. Right, and so we're still looking for metal. And a big part of that is, earlier on, I made a giant stack of metal. We just grab a little bit more metal. That'll be good. And I hope everyone's been enjoying the game so far and all that. It's definitely got, like, the crafting side. The survival side is really not there, but that's fine. I actually don't know the marketing side of it, how they consider it, but, like, yeah, the crafting, exploration. Not every game needs to be some sweaty, try hard, every inch you just have to struggle to survive kind of game. It feels like it's a lot more of, like, a survival game with a story. So stuff like Subnautica and Raft. Where it's like, yeah, you know, Subnautica and Raft have a bit more on the survival mechanics. But I mean, honestly, once you get things set up, the survival aspect of those games is very easy. Real harsh user review for launch day. Yeah, I've kind of learned not to have much stock on launch day user reviews for stuff, unfortunately, these days. So many times you'll be like, oh, this game's getting mostly negative or whatever, or overwhelmingly negative. And then you look at the reason and it'll be something like really trivial. I have no idea with this one what's going on with that. I've definitely not had anything that has led me to be like, oh no, this game bad or anything like that. Like I've not run into any really, you know, big bugs. I've not run into, you know, performance issues. I haven't gotten like soft locked or any of the stuff that usually leads to those really, really harsh reviews. I don't see anything that looks like generative AI, which makes me happy because that's always a rough one. People are just cranky on launch day. Nah, I feel like a lot of times people have unrealistic expectations. And don't get me wrong, sometimes devs foster those expectations. The No Man's Sky thing, where overpromise, underdeliver kind of stuff. And then sometimes there's stuff like a game being in early access and promising a whole lot of things and then falling way short. That kind of thing. And you know, those are things that could definitely fall on a dev when those happen. But at the same time, I've also seen a number of games that the game will release and people will be like, it doesn't have multiplayer, 1 out of 10, and you're going, they never said they were going to. Like, never in this game's entire history did mention. I have no idea what the status on this game with multiplayer or anything like that is, by the way. No, actually, no, it did have multiplayer because it mentioned public lobbies and all that. Alright. Let's go and see if we have the resources I need to make the shipyard. Cool. So autofill, craft. Alright. Yeah, and overall I'm enjoying the game. Like, I'd definitely say, like, I'm having a good time with it. I haven't run into any glaring problems of any kind. It's got kind of an interesting story and all that. The grappling hook mechanic is pretty cool. I probably need to scan it? No. Oh, it's this thing here. Okay. Yeah, there's multiplayer. When you go to the start of the game, you can invite only. Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning is remember. So you can create from blueprint or create a new ship. Okay. Interesting. It's gonna take me a little getting used to all that. Okay, so it seems like the bottom kind of determines how big the area is, and then you can kind of angle it on the top. And grab by both the vertice as well as the all that. Sure, so it's ship sections 3 or whatever. Getting at the bottom as well? Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, so I can grab the face of it. Alright, so you have vertical cycle mirror axis. Okay. Yeah, so you can choose whether or not to mirror it either way. We have the vertical movement and all that. That's space. Sure, I kind of wish... And this is... Oh, wait, here we go. Add section. There we go. I was about to say, it's like, I kind of wish I had, like, the extrude tool or whatever. And it's like, there, we have one. So grab the bar, I can angle the whole thing in. Grab the bar, angle the whole thing in. Grab the bar, angle it. Grab the bar there. I will move that face and narrow it up. Maximum number of ship sections added. Okay. Okay, so I can move it back, but I can't move it forward. That's fine. Okay. Sure. Why not? So I guess I hit escape now. And so I will need... Oh, that's a lot of metal. Sure, let's save that. Okay, save. But why? Confirm. Alright, so I need more metal. On the other hand, most of the Hearts reviews don't get into thorough breakdown. Since the launch sale doesn't end until the first, I might have time to get some reliable without fear of missing out launch discount. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that's such a big deal about being able to like cover these games and all that. That very genuinely, like, you can read a review and someone will have the review that says this game's amazing, and then you just go and it's like, it could be a good game, but it's just not what you wanted, or it's got mechanics you don't like, or whatever. And then just at the same token, you have a game, a person like, this game is utter rubbish, how dare anyone play it, the devs should be ashamed of themselves. And then you boot up the game, you're like, I'm having a good time. I don't know what's going on with this. Because that was my experience with No Man's Sky, was I hadn't seen like any of the promotional stuff for it. I was just doing my thing, and this space game came up. I'm like, oh, okay, there's this cool space game that just came out, or is like come out today or whatever. All right, I'll check that out. I like space games, and I had a good time with it. And I was really surprised when I saw the Steam page. I can't remember if one of my friends was like, oh, you're playing it, how is it? You know, the reviews have been really bad. And I was really surprised that it had, like, overwhelmingly negative. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, you know, it's not an amazing game that changes the world or anything, but I had a good time with it. You know, and then you saw the promotional material that was promising the moon and the stars and didn't deliver even remotely any of that. And we know in hindsight that it was Sony who pushed them to, roll it out before it was ready. But it is one of those things that very much those, like, quick just text reviews can really kind of shape a game in a way that's not really a thing. versus watching someone do gameplay. And obviously this is self-serving for me because, you know, you go watch me play it. Is it only 15 I have? I need a lot more metal. I did make my ship bigger than I need to, but it's not hard to gain these resources, so... Yes, we're at 23. It's fine. Low-key, that felt pretty fantastic to time the launch thing. You played No Man's Sky for about 4 hours. Did not enjoy it. You don't blame others for liking it, just and everything. Well, and that's totally fair. Like, that's absolutely fair. Now, it was on release day with No Man's Sky, like that time frame, like, it was considered utterly reviled by the public at large, and it was just one of those things. Metal, not scrap? Oh! Right, it's the iron ingots. Right. So I need to be going in the cave. So I'm just grabbing all this scrap. It's fine. Yeah, so let's go into the cave, smash some rocks. I think it was 20 for 10. And I needed like 45. So I need about 40, 40 or so of the iron ore. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, usually in a lot of these games, it's very rare you have a material there like, oh man, I'm unhappy that I have this material. It's very rare that kind of thing happens. Did you check the information on the hammer to see why the rocks are exploding? No. Because if it's buried more than one screen deep, I never read it. I figured it just need to stand back. That was just the way it worked. Where are you in here anyways? Here. That's where. I think it's a pop made. You closed it too quickly to see. I read through it, but I probably missed the details on it. Because it's one of those things, a lot of these... There's a difference between learning by doing and learning by reading. Learning by reading is not very good way of learning. When it comes to that, you have different modalities of learning. You have active and passive. Reading is considered a passive. Your data retention for passive learning is terrible. It's like lower double digits. Like 20-30% at best. Versus active learning can be far higher. So the active learning form of that would be the game kind of being like, oh hey, go smash that rock over there. Oh no, the rock is about to explode. Why did that happen? Like that kind of thing. Which again, you can get too heavy-handed with your tutorials, that can be its own problem. That's the balance. And I've seen a lot of games also do it well, where the way they work around that, with that balance I was talking about, is that when you're playing, you have a way of, like, tuning up and down the tutorial as you go. So, you know, the whole prompt where you walk up to the person, they're like, hello, survivor. Hello, survivor. Do you need help guiding your way through this world? Do you want me to just give you prompts, or do you want me to, like, basically handhold you and tell you which buttons to push? But all that takes time, and when you're working with limited dev resources, those are all give and take kind of things. Was that where do you put your resources there on other things? If adjust to what you're doing instead of like one and done, be good. You're failing a thing. Yeah, no, it's also good to have a way for games to bring back tutorial things at different points. especially with games that are very long and complicated. I didn't think I'd be able to interact with them, but it was worth trying. Just because, you know, you'll play a game and then something will come up, you'll go on vacation or whatever, and you'll be gone for 2-3 weeks, and you come back to the game and go, I have no idea what's going on. And so it's good to have a way to kind of, like, refresh your understanding of the game. Especially if it's a really, really long game. You know, really long, complex game. Because you can just come back and be like, man, I have no idea what's going on. They can feel a lot like you're just starting over from scratch. Run that problem before? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's still doing the explosion. That's it. If it's a game of the materials, I don't really care. Okay. And considering... Hey. Considering I have a preference for a lot of games that end up having really complicated systems, I do appreciate ways to recover my way back. Alright. Alright, we're about to get to the point where I'm going to have grabbed enough. Does he got to run a minute? Want me to explain the rock thing before you go? Sure. I was assuming it was something like I keep hitting it and like overcharging it or something. It could also be striking the blue part versus the yellow part. The striking the yellow part explodes it really fast. Versus the blue part, you can chip away at it and get all the goodies out of it without the explosion. As I notice, I do get iron from hitting the blue parts. When I'm saying blue parts, I'm talking about the numbers. Rocks have 3 parts: the dull outside, the shiny bits, and the core. Hitting the core makes it explode. Hitting the shiny bits are what you want. The dull part just gets in the way. Yeah. Alright, so let's get back outside. Because we should have enough ore now to make the iron I need. Because it's got a timer on like the crafting of it, I'd like to get outside and get it started. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, no, I kind of figured it had to do with hitting the middle part, but I was still getting the materials, so it's kind of like, you know what? I could put more effort into it, but I'm also very lazy. So... yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That's one of those things I'll end up being torn on, is for what being said there, for those who missed it, is that if you blow it up, you don't get the full resources. And that's fine. I tend to be a lot more in favor of like, look man, I'm going to have to grind a lot of this material. Putting a lot of effort into just mining ore. I don't have enough Fs to give for that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I would be perfectly okay if you blow it up and you only get, you know, 60, 70, 80% of the yield. Or maybe, yeah, like 50, like whatever percent. You don't get the full yield. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that's reasonable. But, it's well saying. Now, granted, this doesn't seem like the kind of game you're going to burn hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours crafting stuff. Alright, so I believe, yeah, so I can see where my little ship building place is over there. Okay, so hang gliding also burns stamina. So at some point, I would just fall from the sky kind of thing, one would assume. Alright. But yeah, so like this game, it's probably not an issue. Versus if we were playing a game like Vintage Story or No Man's Sky or Valheim or any of these games that just you're going to be sinking a lot of hours into. If you make the process of getting your materials too involved, too laborious, it goes from being kind of a fun gimmick to a chore. So like, for example, Vintage Story, I got a mod to make it so when it comes to the napping, which is where you chip the stones and all that, that, you know, you would then go through and you could just kind of hold the button and do it. Because while the minigame's really fun at first, because it's just kind of cool and different, it's one of those ones that I can see getting really tiresome really fast. So like, it's a cool thing, but after you've made your 100th axe, you get pretty tired of just going tick, 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 tick the whole way through. And a bunch of games have those problems, like tons and tons of games. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Alright. Autofill. Craft. Enter the name of the ship. Probably poorly designed. Excellent. I wasn't expecting it to be like metal girdering and wood platform, but I'm on board with it. No core installed on the ship. Register the skyship core. An Atlas skyship core is a vital technology that allows your skyship to fly. While inside the Starship Dome, go to the Essentials tab of the build. Build the core on your ship. Interact with the core by placing it to register your skyship. Oh, you got to make sure you're registered. Wouldn't want to get pulled over. Alright, that's the same devs as World of Parts, right? That made this, or... Sorry, I missed context. Alright, so build menu, essentials, the core, autofill, craft. Okay. Register your ship. Probably poorly designed. Cool. Register the ship. You have registered your ship. Probably poorly designed. Alright. So we can get rid of that prompt. Skyship has a basic square sail. Skyship has a basic triangular sail. Skyship has a helm. Alright. I've made the interior of this slightly claustrophobic. And I need more metal. I should have gotten more metal. What about these sails? A schematic wooden mast base. All right. We got crow's nest and all that. So it looks like there's a lot of cool stuff we can do with this. Alright. So. Oh. Okay. I appreciate this. So they've made it so you can actually go up here and move around. So for crafting, you don't have to worry about all that. So let's check that again. Yeah, so I'm going to need 4 cloth for that. And 4 cloth for that. I'll end up needing more wood. Okay, so let's go ahead and... we'll need to kill some trees. Alright. Oh, and before I forget, for those who don't know, the stream team on Halcyon Frequency, we did begin our game jam today. And the theme of this year's game jam is mundane tasks. So if you're thinking about it, it's making games around stuff like doing the laundry, doing dishes, sweeping the floor, mowing the lawn, going and getting your groceries. You get the idea. Just simple, everyday things that you wouldn't think much of. And then, you know, gamifying them. Yeah, doing your taxes. Please do not make an anime uwu that asks you to put in your social security number, because that being a thing that happened on Steam was certainly interesting. And apparently, like, it legitimately did work where it would give you everything you needed for your taxes. But yeah, Steam was like, absolutely the frick no. Because there's all sorts of rules about storing private information and all that, and a game asking for your social and everything is like, okay, hang on, wait a moment. This game is asking for some really, really, real dangerous data. It appears to be on the up and up, but we really probably don't want to let that happen. All it takes is one update where then it starts, you know, sending that someplace. Like, I could see someone making in a game that's basically just budget. You know, it wouldn't be, like, really budgeting. I mean, you could. But I could see someone having, like, a fictional thing that, you just kind of budget stuff in the game that you have to, like, take what the money is and figure out how to navigate to achieve whatever the goals are of the mission or whatever. The anime talks over. Is that the one that's the dating sim? Yes. Like FIFA Manager, but a hole-in-the-wall restaurant? Yeah, exactly. So you're playing a game like Plate Up, except the difference being, instead of you're running around and frantically trying to keep the customers happy, you're the person in the back room doing like all the accounting kind of stuff. Going, okay, well, how much do we allocate towards the employees' salaries? Okay, well, how much do we need of our different ingredients? You know, our equipment has wear and tear on it. What equipment I'm going to have to budget to replace. I could see there being an allure to that kind of a game. Alright, so none here. Because there's a lot of games that you stop and you stare and go, that's just work. How is that fun? And then you play it and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. All the simulation games are like Farm Sim, American Truck Sim, all these. That on the surface it makes no sense, and then you play it. The one that stands out to me that kind of was the first about, it wasn't literally the first, it was one of the ones that kind of became very public about, this is a game that on its surface, if you just take it at face value, you scratch your head and go, but why would anyone want to do that? Was Papers, Please. Where it's like, yeah, what are you doing? Bureaucracy. You're going to stand at the border, and you're going to have people present you with documents, and you're going to need to, like, stare at them intently and figure out if there's anything wrong. And so, like, the description of it sounds awful, but then you play it, and it's genuinely fun. You hadn't heard of it before, but this rabbit hole has already led me to discover the tax software has a collector's edition with a body pillow and an adult patch. And then you decided to stop clicking links. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, no, it was for those who aren't aware, it was I think last year it was tax prep software, but it was presented as like an anime uwu dating game. And I honestly don't know like how, because like I took one look at like I'm not putting any legitimate financial information into something like that. I'm not even gonna try like falsify it, but the whole idea was you were supposedly dating this anime uwu whatever, but she would ask you all these kind of invasive financial things because it was legitimately, it would at the end give you the I can't remember if it's the Easy-E tax form, but it gets you your tax form printed out that literally was, assuming you answered everything honestly, would be accurate for filing taxes. Now granted, again, probably don't use that. There's another cave system up top over here. Oh, I'm out of stamina. I was like, why am I not why am I not doing the thing? Because I'm running everywhere. But yeah, so like I don't know with the dating sim like how adult risque it got or whatever. I'm under the impression it didn't get that far, but it got pulled from Steam because again it was asking you for your social security number and very, very sensitive financial information. But yeah, it did create kind of a whole following thing. They were just trying to gamify taxes, which I honestly don't think is a bad thing. But also, maybe work with someone who knows what they're doing with taxes versus a random game. Because also, taxes change every year. So that'd be a hard game to keep accurate. Unless you got, like, really, really simple taxes. If you've heard of the game, you're not sure your personal information is any more secure with the government? I mean, so it's not even a matter of, like, is one more secure than the other? When it comes to data security, there's a couple different things you take into factoring with security. The first one is, like, what is the likelihood of a compromise in something? Which is what we're kind of going with the, you're not sure if it's more secure in A or B. And that's certainly something to consider. But, like, there is that. So, you know, going to, like, the dodgy, sketchy, you know, software piracy website, you know, and they go, hey, man, could you, like, send us your social? Definitely don't do that. Because there's zero chance that's not getting immediately compromised. But at the same time, you also have to consider, like, the severity of the data you're putting in. Like, whatever data you're building or whatever, like, you're storing, what can someone do if they get that? And that's another factor. But then the third factor that a lot of times people don't consider as much is simply every single additional place you have your data is another individual place that can be compromised. So even if you are putting it in a bunch of secure places, just by putting it in more places, you are increasing your risk of having your data compromised. One second, I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Imagine you had a conversation with the IRS anticipating a digital way if you filled it out. I'm sure they hear weird things. Do you get points with your waifus every time you deduct every deductible on the list? I have no idea how it did any of it. Because it's one of the things that, like, I heard about it, and I took, like, a look at the sense to be like, what is this? But I really didn't dig into it, because, again, my thought was like, man, I would absolutely not put my data in this thing. Okay. It seems like after a while, some of the textures coming off of these when you shoot them do seem to go away after a while, unfortunately. Which does make it hard to try and avoid hitting the core when the surface textures aren't disappearing to kind of let you know beyond just the damage number what progress you're making. I didn't realize you could just straight up get an Atlas crystal like that. Okay. I have been just sending it with the, inventory stuff. Okay, so this is apparently how I'm supposed to do it. Which is honestly okay. Alright, so the inventory's full. There we go, I made room. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to actually take that time. I don't think it's a bad mechanic, but for collecting resources again and again, I don't want to put that kind of effort into it. Alright, so let's get out of here. Oh, hey. Because I should have enough materials now to build the other parts I need for my ship. Yeah, that's honestly one of those things that I could see a lot of things going wrong with it, because again, they, you know, you mess around with that tax filling out dating sim whatever, and you give it all the data, and maybe it works out the first time, and then, you know, a couple years go by, the dev's not keeping up with it anymore because there's just can't get the money, whatever. And so kind of falls behind, and now your tax information's wrong, so you get yourself audited. Because you send something, and they're like, you can't deduct those things, what are you doing? And I can imagine that would be an interesting conversation of just dealing with the auditor and being like, well, no, I use this software, where I put this all in, and then it just be like, yeah, getting your taxes wrong because you're using out-of-date software, like, you don't get a pass on that. And for the record, I've worked with a lot of people who've had to deal with being audited by the IRS and all that. Usually, as long as you're not very clearly, obviously trying to circumvent taxes or whatever, they're usually pretty reasonable. Or as long as you're not being an utter jerk. Well, that's interesting. So there's a chunk of rock in the bottom of the island. Like, the moment you approach it, you're an absolute butt about it, yeah. They can get pretty nasty. Okay, so let's pull ourselves up. Comfort level 0? Aw, come on, man. You're telling me my, that's not the bun I wanted? You're telling me my wooden steel box with, like, just being open to the elements? And no, like, padding or anything? Gotta be a game with really low replay value? Yeah, but I would argue the counter-argument is the game that has utility. And some people do play games that genuinely utility is the big part of it. Alright, so what the heck did I even need here? We needed... That's right, I needed more materials for the helm. Oh, right, I could actually smelt the metal. So let's go here. We can build our smelter. Because it's also okay for games to not have a lot of replay value. While certainly the number of hours you get out of a game is a factor to consider, I do feel people put a little bit too much stock in just that one statistic. Because, like, for example, there's a game called, was it Packing? No, Unpacking. That's genuinely a really, really good, charming game, but it is a game that you're gonna play, like, one and done and probably never touch again. So you're gonna get, like, pretty low double-digit hours out of the game. But it is also an amazing game. Yeah, no, I definitely know there's those who the statistic of, like, how many hours I'm gonna get out is, like, the only statistic they worry about. And I do think that is to a detriment. Essentials, helm. And again, not that it's necessarily in itself a bad thing either. It's just one of many things. Let's see. Ship sailing. Hold space to undo the ship from the shipyard. Skyships can move a small amount with you, but only a core. But to go fast, point your ship in a direction that the wind is traveling. Experiment the sails. That's fine. Alright, so we still need to get our sails sorted. For that, I'm going to need to go to build. Crafting utility. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to a crafting station to make our cloth. Was there a crafting station in here? I don't remember. Oh, I think that's one right there. So resources. That's fine. Let's see, most of the games you like don't have a lot of replay value because you prefer small story games. Yeah, no, there's definitely times that I want the game that I can sink hundreds and hundreds of hours into, you know, your RimWorld, your Project Zomboids, those kind of games. And there's definitely also those times I want to, like, play a game that you're only going to get maybe a dozen or 2 hours out of, and that's that. You know, it's got a nice, succinct story. You just kind of work through. It is just one of those things. It's kind of the same thing, like, some days you want the sweaty, try-hard game that you have to struggle through every inch of it, and every, like, decision really matters. And other days you just want, like, that kind of cute game where you just plop down buildings and, like, pretty sparkles come up, and you're like, cool, man. I increase the population of the town by this. Okay. That was certainly weird. Basically, I slungshot myself, but just because of the weirdness of the ship here, it blasted me out the other side. Alright, so let's see here about building those sails. We got the basic square sail. This would not work well if it had to be balanced. If it had to be balanced, we would nose down immediately. Sails catch wind, and give your starship thrust. That's fine. Alright, so I'm going to want to move that. Okay. Sails catch the wind and give your skyship thrust. Use E to close the sails. They will only supply thrust when opened. Find them in the ship flight tab build menu. We already got that. How do go down? Oh, okay. We stepped far enough away. Or not? Alright, so hold crouch to drop between floors. You can continue to explore this island for more Saborian data disks, or finish building the sky-worthy ship and set off to distant horizons. It's probably fine. Oh. Break, close all sails, hold. And I can't just pull them back out the same way? This is deeply scary. I really should have given myself a solid place to get this all figured out from. Okay. There we go. Yes, I definitely need to adjust this so that I don't straight up die. Alright, so let's try this again. I think I'm moving. And I can't quite tell. So those are the islands we were at. I think that's an island we haven't been to over there, so let's go over here. And I keep instinctively wanting to hold shift, which will close all my sails. You finally made it to the purple systems in No Man's Sky? Gotcha. Alright, so what I do think is going to happen here not too long is from this stage forward, I imagine we would go to, like, your next island, we would explore that. You know, get more materials, craft more things. We've got like our compendium, so you see, like, I've got 4 out of these 8 crafting benches. We're nowhere near anything on all these cloths. It's gonna be probably the typical thing. Outskirts. The more rural of what remains of North Sabor, predominantly a temperate climate with pines and ferns. Sorry, that music is good. Yeah, and the reason we're not moving super fast is I'm kind of flying into the wind. So it's the kind of thing, like, if I were to turn around and go the other way, we'd go much quicker. But I just wanted to turn the way I saw land. One other concern I have is, even holding spacebar, I'm not really getting that much lift. So I'm curious if when we get closer, I'll be able to get up to that elevation, or if I'll have to, like, climb from the bottom and work my way up. I can see it going either way. Okay, clearly we just loaded textures in because the game hung for a moment. Oh. I don't think we looped back. But that's another one of the arcs. I'm surprised they made you wait that long for that music. It's really nice music. It does really create a moment, though, about going between the islands. I'm also noticing how horribly miscentered my back sail is. Don't look directly at it, and it probably can't hurt you. It does look like I am getting over the island. But yeah, no, that music, though, definitely sells the travel. The big question is how much the island's gonna thing. You looked immediately too late, that's fair. Alright. So I'm supposedly lowering my elevation. Alright. Yeah. There we go. Cool. So we got whatever these are. Got a cave thing over there. We got a giant statue. Yeah, no, it's got some big adventure things. It honestly feels like... So it's definitely a crafting game, to be clear. But it feels like the crafting is a lot more of like unlocking the next thing. So if we're doing the Zelda comparison, you know, Legend of Zelda, you would find your way into the dungeon and you'd get your grappling hook, and then you'd use your grappling hook to get, you know, to the next place. It kind of has that, but instead of just giving you the item, they give you the schematic and then you have to build the thing, which I think is totally fair and fine. But it does kind of give you more of a, like an explore the world Zelda vibe kind of thing. Which, to be fair, is also true of Subnautica and Raft. They also kind of do that same thing where... What are you? I'm a little concerned about angering you. But, they do have that kind of vibe going for them. We discovered a data relay puzzle. That's true, especially. Yeah, no, it's a thing that's kind of that same, like, you're playing a grand adventure game. It's interesting that it's giving me... Does the laser hurt? That's the big question. Curious. So it almost looks like it's one of these puzzles where you've got these things and you can point them at each other. And if this one's pointing the wrong way. Okay. Just go around. Alright. But yeah, so it's like one of those grand adventure kind of games. They just use crafting mechanics as opposed to, you know, doing whatever puzzle and all. And that's fine, because that means you can enjoy a grand adventure. And then, like, say, you know, you're not into the puzzles that Zelda used to throw. You can still have that Zelda experience. Or, for the other thing, is like, say you're just not into the style of combat that Zelda has. You can, again, still have that experience of the grand adventure style game with just, you know, different levers you pull to advance the story. Alright, and bear with me, chat, we're about to hit our ad break. So what I'm going to do here in just a minute is I need to use the restroom and step away from the computer for a moment to welcome my wife home and all that stuff. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. But first I'm going to scan this thing. And I'll be right back, but thank you again for tuning in, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. And in a game where a single hit can be the end of it, 95% is still not good enough. Someone clipped that? I'm pretty sure we just pushed him, and it counted as a spear stab. That tells us about your personality, a random psychology test would say. Do corpses go away after a while? Yes, 9 days. All these bodies you see here, I have killed in the last 9 in-game days. All the bodies from before that are long gone. It also feels like it caters to that specifically. Yes, that's... You okay there, Bo? I'll just give you a moment to sort yourself out. Nothing's breaking, right? No. All right. I mean, you take your time. When you're ready, you can settle down. It's making terrible noises. I'm not sure how well you can hear it, but it's going crunch, crunch, crunch. Be able to disarm it by doing that. All right. You're not better than anything I have. No, okay, wait, what? Well, not entirely sure what happened, but you know, okay. Yep, really, wait, can I? I probably went too far. Okay. Now, the problem we have here is I have to move things that have weight. And they're gonna make me want to slide. And as you can see, we're not really on there well, but it is what it is. Hop out. Okay.
And what you're looking for.
Very sad Santa Claus. Just be like, yep, world's ending. Gonna watch it burn. Hope your days go well, cause I'm gonna die. And I'm gonna watch the world burn. I'm not gonna make the world burn, it's just gonna watch it. Yep. That is one burning world out there. Plus, we did find a grappling arm down there, and the prawn suit, and the drill arm. So my hope is I'll be able to snag a, Hi, nightmares. Alright, take it easy. Door yourself. Ow! Okay, I understand. Look, I really want to make this work. But you're gonna have to cooperate with me a little bit. Bang it hard. That's my strategy. I've cursed myself by putting that in the... Oh god, what's happening? Yeah, that's, That's how that works. It's just the question of when you actually go up to the building and those ones spawn in, how... Oh, ho, ho, ho. I missed that stab, and then I hit the wrong button instead of backing away. I scraped. Luckily we pushed. That was a fat finger key. Those are the kinds of deaths that would actually feel real... Wait a second. Oh. That'd feel real terrible. Because that's just like, that wasn't me misplaying, that was fat fingering. I only lost one time the entire time I played the last time. Come on. I know I'm at 0%, but I'm right here. Aw, come on. I got over the hill, too. I was right there. Goodbye, X-Jack. That was certainly an original entrance. I will give them that much. That was a unique entrance. because I need that sorted right away, because we're about to go into the Noctil event, and once that happens, they will be allowed to shoot at me, and I will not be allowed to shoot back. That's a regular hit. I need this to fly true. High Lord. This is you. Anywhere in the middle will do. That, I approve. You done good today, kid. Okay, we're through the trees. Yep. Did I get away with that?
Okay, that's another zombie bomb.
All right. Of course. Of course. Trees are the real enemy. Never trust a tree. They will betray you at your moment of weakness. They will look you in the eyes as you reach forward and say, "Please help me," and they will spit on your hand and slap it away and watch you fail. And by that I mean a zombie will walk through and grab you and bite you in the face. But, you know, sometimes you got to just talk it up a little.
I can't see the road.
Okay, and we are back. So, what I think we might be doing here is I do think we might be switching up the games. I do stream for usually like 9 hours. It's usually around halftime I go and I do a switch. Doing it just a little early because the timing works out. I'd say overall, when it comes to how I've experienced this game, I definitely would feel like I went into the impression that it was a survival crafter, which is not necessarily what they've told me or whatever. More Skylands. Are you saying more of this game or No Man's Sky or more of this game? I don't know. So like, what? Let me. So, I went in the impression that this is survival craft, and that's probably a misimpression on my side. There's definitely not a survival side to this, which is totally fine. But at the same time, like, the crafting's fine. It definitely feels very Raft-esque on a lot of the crafting, with the difference of being like, you don't have on your sky ship. Like, you don't have the stuff built there, which is fine. That's neither here nor there. But it kind of gives me that vibe. It also gets a little bit more like Grand Adventure. I will say that side of it, I think this game does better than Raft. I can't speak for the story where it gets later, where Raft got more involved and all that, because I don't know. But, and that's because you don't have like all that filler space of just floating between things. Like, it was very much you just pointed your boat, there's a thing, and you went that way. I do really like the grappling hook. I think that's a great mechanic. The scanning mechanic, I think that's fine. I would definitely say one of the things that got me is I think the text up there in that top left corner, I really wish it had like a little bit of a contrast behind it, because I don't have a, yeah, we can put it up. I don't have a really good spot here, but there's a lot of times where it's really bright and then you can't read that at all. And I found myself ignoring that text, which is literally my mission objective is the next thing. But I found myself ignoring that text constantly because it was just hard to see and read. Whereas the tutorial things that pop up right above here, where it had like a little blue window, you know, that's very easy to see and read and all that. But yeah, overall I like it. I do really like the grappling hook. I think they got some cool stuff with that. It's definitely one of those ones, it's going to take you time to get proficient with it. But it definitely could do some really cool stuff here where you can just like slingshot yourself and then go places that way. So I really do like the amount of mobility they give you I think that's a nice touch to differentiate it. I like the story so far. I haven't gone enough to really get a huge feel for it, where it's the classic with a lot of these survival games that some cataclysm, apocalypse, whatever has occurred, society is basically gone, and you got to rebuild. The draw distance pretty amazing here, because I can clearly see that there's another island over here. Is there a map? There is not. But yeah, I have no idea the scope of how big this game gets. But it does feel like it's kind of in the Raft Subnautica flow of the game. Yeah, the lore is also pretty neat. Yeah, in just the whole, you go from place to place and you unlock the thing. I did notice there's a leveling mechanic, and I appreciate that. It doesn't really give me any information about it. I haven't even looked into sneaking. I'm assuming this is sneaking. And it's just the classic, you do the thing, you gain the level. And I'm assuming this will do stuff like sprinting probably makes your stamina run longer, as well as recover faster. Maybe you run faster. Was gliding a skill in its own right? Yes, it is. Yeah, so it's a thing. Have you been playing this as well? Good to hear. But yeah, no, overall, like, this definitely feels like it's not a bad game. I'm just kind of approaching this from the standpoint of me streaming it. That the games you kind of work through the story tend to be a lot more difficult for me to stream. And also, low-key, I want to play something like Vintage Story. I've been currently obsessed with that. Let's just go in and see what happens as I walk in here. Connecting to ARC Network. Uploading ASA Neural Matrix. Connection secured across 2 nodes. Hello, is this the survival assistance for this ARC? Yes and no. I am ASA from the last ARC, but I seem to have been merged with this ARC node via the Prism. What does that mean? There was no ASA present aboard this ARC, but it would appear to have seamlessly integrated into the hardware. I do not know how this happened, but I now control over both ARCs, and I can offer you the same system. What happened to the other ASA? There are signs that there was present for some time in the past. If the other ARCs are like this one, I believe I can merge my neural matrix with other processing units. There appears to be memory fragments to recover. It is possible that these are my memory fragments, or that the previous ASAs experiencing simply were added to mine. I do not know for certain. Did you recover any valuable data? It will take some time to utilize the extra processing compatibilities of this ARC has offered me, but I see references to Gal, Peñana, Rep 25, Minyata. It's very fragmented, but I believe it leads to high probability that the creators of these ARCs, and by extension me, was the nation of Gaul. What information do you have about Gaul? From the limited data I have, I can tell you that they were a small island nation that valued education and pursuit of many research projects. They appeared to have a large geopolitical presence despite their size. We can also discern that they were very technologically advanced. It is possible they were part of the plan to save the world. How much of that plan is still on track, we do not yet know. I think it's safe to say it might have derailed slightly. Would finding more ARCs allow me to learn more? Yes, it is clear we are part of a much bigger plan. By reconnecting more ARCs, maybe we could piece together what happened, and try to finish what the Gaul started. Cool. So, if we check on the regular crafting bench, I didn't get anything particularly new on that one, that's fine. My assumption is we would learn the table schematic from the ARC computer. Learned a table schematic from you? What? If we're going to use Saborian technology, you'll need a research table on your ship. Gather more data disk. Okay, so I would basically find a research point. and do all that. But yeah, so as you can see, like, you kind of go around, you gather materials. Now, like I'm noticing on this island, I don't see anything new material-wise yet. It doesn't mean there isn't anything. It's possible we're going to get into some cave systems, and then, you know, instead of iron, we might find titanium or whatever. Okay. And I have been emptying my inventory. And I can't put the rest. Alright, but yeah, so you get the idea. Oh, you know what? That's right, because it went right into the dialogue. So it may have been I just need to reselect that prompt. That's the reason I was confused. I was like, okay, so just learn that from here. But yeah, no, I've definitely, like, I've been enjoying the game. I don't play too many grand adventure games anymore. Like, they're good games. I really do like the zipline mechanic. Oh, right. It's just been a while. So I could get the Outcast Retort, which is a shotgun. I can get to where I can craft a research bench. So what I probably need to do is let's hold off, because I would need a second data point for that. I also didn't bother to go in here. Yeah, this feels very much like, I don't know which one came first, this or Enshrouded, but they have kind of the same approach of, you've got an area there. You've been thinking about trying Vintage Story? Just a bummer no villagers exist. Yeah, so in Vintage Story, there's no villagers. There are trade people, though. So it's not like you build a village and you have people move in or anything like that, but there are people you can go and trade with them. But yeah, the world is lovely. I'm kind of seeing if I can't get a data disk real fast, just to see what the research progress looks like. It's also a little weird with all the stuff going in it that they just give us straight up guns. You've got like all this, you know, where they're talking and they're like, we are gods and all that kind of stuff, and Seraph and all sorts of things. And then you're like, all right, now here's my Glock. Okay, so I've made mistakes, and then my inventory is full of junk. Let's toss some of the food out. Yeah, so there's all sorts of weird attachments and all that. We made the tension cable. I'm basically trying to see if there's other resources I just want to chuck on the ground and not worry about right now. Oh, I got more of these. Okay. I have a feeling that cannon shell is probably pretty big. Alright, we have another one that needs to. Got a bronze ingot I found. Okay. Yeah, so this is a point. This is a point we would want to go to our ship and build storage and start getting into that whole thing. Yeah, so we got some cool stuff because we found a cannon shell. So needless to say, we're going to get a cannon. My assumption is that cannon would then be part of my ship. Let's see here. Storage. Must be inside ship bubble to craft this item. Okay, so I can't build it there. Right, so basically what happens is when I go to a new island, I need to go to a place where you can build the ship to do that. I'm kind of torn how I feel about needing to have a dedicated, this is the ship crafting place just to upgrade it. I get there's probably meaningful reasons for that. But at the same time, I'm now dealing with an overabundance of materials, and it looks like my solution is to get in my ship and go back home, to then add storage, to then come back, or find the materials here. But it's fine. I have no idea how much you'd want to build on the tile. We can make structures so I can actually make walls and all that. But it looks like you're primarily expected to live on your ship. Anyways, like I said, I do think I want to switch games here. I have enjoyed this. I think it's an excellent game. But I also want to play Vintage Story, so I'm going to probably do that. For those watching over on YouTube, the YouTube side of the stream will be dropping for a little while, for like just a couple minutes, because when I switch categories on YouTube, that's what I have to do. But over here on Twitch, we are just going to keep on moving forward and getting into our next game and all that. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that. And again, that was sponsored. I do really appreciate the devs sponsoring that for its 1.0 release. It means a heck of a lot.